On December 6, 2024, in the Mountain West Championship game, Boise State running back Ashton Jeanty carried the ball 32 times for 209 yards and a touchdown against UNLV. That touchdown went for 75 yards. It was his fifth touchdown run of 70-plus yards that season, tying LaDainian Tomlinson's all-time FBS record. That same night, he broke a Boise State career rushing record that had stood for 44 years. And his season totals at that point? 2,497 rushing yards, 29 rushing touchdowns, leading the entire country in both. At that moment, it was already the fourth best rushing season in the history of college football. 8 days later, Ashton Jeanty sat in New York City and watched somebody else win the Heisman Trophy by the narrowest margin in 15 years. But how did we even get here? Going into 2024, nobody was expecting anything too incredible out of Jeanty. Reporters assumed he would be a very good Mountain West running back, a guy that might be featured on some award watch lists. Boise State was picked to win its conference, sure, but nationally, an afterthought. Jeanty wasn't the Heisman favorite. He wasn't in the conversation at all. The books had quarterbacks at the top, like they always do. A running back hadn't won the Heisman since Derrick Henry in 2015.
Heisman Trophy is Derrick Henry.
In a group of 5-player winning it, that basically doesn't happen. So keep that in mind for everything you're about to see. Every number that follows blew past what anyone said was possible in August. On August 31st, 2024, Boise State opened at Georgia Southern, and Ashton Jeanty played one of the most efficient games in the history of college football. 20 carries, 267 yards, 6 touchdowns. That's 13.4 yards every time he touched the ball. He broke Boise State's single-game rushing record, which had previously stood for 46 years in the season opener. 2 of those touchdowns went for 77 and 75 yards. 1 week later, on September 7th, Boise State walked into Autzen Stadium to play 7th-ranked Oregon, the team that would finish the regular season ranked #1 in the country.
#1 seed, the Oregon Ducks.
Jeanty ran for 192 yards and 3 touchdowns on the road against the college football playoff defense. Despite this, Boise State still lost by 3 points, 37-34, on a last-second field goal, and it was the closest anyone came to beating Oregon in the entire regular season. That loss did more for Jeanty's Heisman case than most wins could have. Nobody could discredit Boise's strength of schedule now. He'd done it against the best team in America in one of the loudest stadiums in the sport. Now we could go game by game through October. Utah State, 186 yards and 3 touchdowns in 1 half. Nevada, 209 and 3. San Jose State, 3 more scores. But instead of showing you every box score, let me show you what was actually going on, because the advanced numbers from this season are almost hard to believe. He racked up over 1,889 yards after contact, which is the most in the college football playoff era. That number alone would have led the country in total rushing. Along with that, Jeanty forced 143 missed tackles, which was also a college football playoff era record. And here's the one that matters most. Jeanty faced a loaded box, 7 or more defenders, 266 times, the most in the country. Every defense he played knew exactly what was coming, and it did not matter. By season's end, he'd outrushed the #2 rusher in America by 837 yards. He had more rushing yards by himself than 115 of the 134 teams in the FBS. On November 23rd at Wyoming, Jeanty was banged up, playing hurt in freezing weather in a rock fight of a game. He carries it 19 times for 169 yards, breaks off a 61-yard touchdown, and Boise State survived 17-13. 1 week later, he took a career-high 37 carries against Oregon State and gained 226. And a streak you should know about. Jeanty rushed for 125 yards or more in 13 consecutive games, the longest streak in the FBS since at least 1996. Now here's the strongest piece of evidence in the whole case. On December 12, 2024, 2 nights before the Heisman ceremony, Ashton Jeanty won the Doak Walker Award as the best running back in college football. That was clearly expected, but then he also won the Maxwell Award, college football's Outstanding Player of the Year. Jeanty was the first running back to win the Maxwell since Derrick Henry in 2015, and the first player from outside the power conferences to win it since Ty Detmer at BYU in 1990. The Maxwell is voted on by coaches, by journalists, and by people who know college football, a voting pool that looks an awful lot like the Heisman's. 48 hours later, a different vote said Hunter, and Jeanty's reaction to all of it at the podium that week tells you who he is.
It's just amazing to, have this opportunity and, for my name to be mentioned with all these other great players in the nation.
Travis Hunter claimed the Heisman by receiving 2,231 points. Ashton Jeanty followed closely behind with 2,017, the closest Heisman vote since 2009. Jeanty became the first running back to finish second since Bryce Love in 2017, and the first Group of 5 player to finish that high since Marshall Faulk in 1992. And look, let's be fair to the man who won. Travis Hunter played both ways at an All-American level. He did something nobody alive had seen. But the question isn't whether Hunter was worthy. The question is whether anyone has ever lost this award with a better season. So run the list. One key name is Adrian Peterson, who in 2004, as a freshman, finished runner-up to Matt Leinart. Legendary, but he was one piece of a loaded title contender. Vince Young in 2005 was fantastic, but his best moment, the greatest title game ever played, came after the vote, not before it. Toby Gerhart had the closest loss ever in 2009 when he lost by only 28 points, but he didn't have nearly the kind of volume, these records, or this trophy case. None of them combined with Jeanty stacked in one season, the 4th best rushing year ever entering bowl season, the 13-game streak, 2 CFP-era records, the Doak and the Maxwell. But there was still one more chase left, the Fiesta Bowl on December 31st. Jeanty needed 132 yards to pass the most untouchable number in college football, Barry Sanders' 2,628-yard season from 1988. Unfortunately for Ashton Jeanty, Penn State took control of the game, and Boise State had to throw. So Jeanty's season ended at 2,601 yards, 27 short. One honest footnote, count Sanders' bowl game, which the NCAA doesn't, and his real 1988 number is 2,850. The record has an asterisk on both sides, but that debate is for another video. He may have not broken the record, and he didn't get the Heisman, but he won everything else. The Doak Walker, the Maxwell. He came 27 yards from the record everyone agreed would never be touched. He never rushed for fewer than 125 yards in a single game, and the players who faced him said, on the record, that he should have won. Some seasons are defined by what you won, some by what you almost had. Ashton Jeanty's 2024 might be the only season in college football history defined by both. Is he the greatest runner-up ever? You tell me.